Good evening everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, depends when you're watching this. We're coming to the end of the year, aren't we? 2019 is coming to a close. One thing that was popular on social media, or Twitter in particular, was unpopular opinion. People would put it up before they followed it up with an unpopular opinion. I think I joined in. I think I put something about I didn't rate Anderson as much as everybody else. And this is very much, I'm aware this is very much going to, I was tempted to put in the title of this video. I'm aware I'm going to be in the minority here. But this is just a personal opinion piece. It's not a news piece, it's not rumours, it's not what you should be thinking. It's just, this is what I am thinking. There's a couple of things that's happened today and yesterday that's maybe want to do this. I was on the Three Hammers a couple of weeks ago, prior to the Chelsea game. I went on the Three Hammers, had a little chat with them. And Luke caught me out a little bit. Luke said, I'll be watching your videos, and you've not actually said if you're Pellegrini in or Pellegrini out. And the truth is, I'm actually neither. I'm sort of unsure. Pellegrini unsure, but I had to put in the title something a little bit juicy to get you on, but it's technically correct, isn't it? I'm not Pellegrini out. I don't want him sacked. I'm very much on the fence for this one. Now, I don't like being on the fence because I'm quite an opinionated person. I can be quite stubborn at times as well. But with this Pellegrini thing, I'm finding it quite difficult to really go one way or the other. I've got some reasons I want Pellegrini gone, some reasons I want him to stay. But for now, I think the staying almost outweighs the going. And it's not really necessarily anything Pellegrini himself has done, especially recently. But I'll get on to everything in a second. I've wrote a few notes down tonight. I don't normally write notes down when we do these videos. I'm a bit like Gonzo. I like to do a bit off the cuff. But I'm looking to make sure I've got everything that I want to say. Make sure I've got everything I want to say. And first of all, I wrote down I don't see much point. And because I don't. I struggle to see what would happen if we got rid of Pellegrini. What would happen? We'd have the next manager in, and it might work. There might be an uplifting for him, and that's a might. But then what? I'm talking long term here. Everyone wants to see a long term plan at West Ham. Everyone's looking at Leicester City thinking we need a plan like that, and I agree. But the problem is I don't think getting rid of Pellegrini means we have a long term plan automatically. There's no correlation between the two. Getting rid of Pellegrini is a short term thing, unless they change everything from top to bottom overnight, which they're not going to do. So I almost think, well, the next guy that comes in is going to be here for what, 12 months, 18 months, then we'll be in the same situation again. This smacks of Slaven Bilic's first season at London Stadium for me, this exact situation we're in now. If you were to go back and watch our videos from December 2016 when we first moved into London Stadium, I bet you our content, our opinions were very, very similar. Problems with the manager, problem with team selection, problems with the transfer market. It's a carbon copy 3 years on, and that's long term. 3 years is long term, and this is where we've got an issue. The fact is we're 3 years down the line and we're in the exact same situation. We've not moved on, and that's one of the reasons I'm sort of thinking, well, what's the point in getting rid of Manuel Pellegrini? Fabianski's coming back. Now, a few weeks ago it came out that the board were going to sort of keep Pellegrini because when Fabianski comes back, that will sort a lot of our problems, and I agree with that. There is a lot of people though, and I can understand this. I will say why this one I sort of agree with. A lot of people will say, hang on, but Fabianski is still going to concede the same amount of shots. Now, I cannot be hypocritical here. For years I've said I just want to see good football, I want to see attacking football. Now, I'm not saying we're seeing that Pellegrini, don't twist that little phrase there, but when you play attacking football you tend to concede shots. You tend to open up a bit more. So I think if you're running attacking football, you're going to have to accept shots coming at you. So the problem isn't necessarily shots getting fired at Fabianski. It is that we're not playing the attacking football. We all thought going into this, I say we all, myself and Gonzo thought going into the season we were going to be trying to win games 3-2, and it feels like we're trying to draw games 2-2 or lose games 2-1 almost. It's the attacking part that's letting us down a little bit in my opinion. Would we be in this pickle if we had Fabianski in goal instead of Roberto? Not necessarily. I think we would have had some more points on the board. I don't think we would have had loads more points because the attacking situation would have still been struggling, if you like. But I think we would have had we certainly wouldn't have been punching it into the back of our net, would we? So I do think Fabianski will shore things up a little bit at the back, but it won't solve all the issues. Now, like I said, this is going to be a bit hickledy-pickledy, so just bear with me here. But there's a lot of the reasons people and I criticise Pellegrini for is he's stubborn. But I've also been looking at the people that's been linked to Pellegrini's job. Daesh Howe, Rafa, that's the three main candidates. If you're like, and Eddie Howe, and when people say Pellegrini's stubborn, I think, hang on a minute, Eddie Howe is just as stubborn. He's got his favourites at Bournemouth. If you go ask Bournemouth fans, you speak to Bournemouth fans, when we do these videos, because we do this channel, I almost think it's important that we do research as much as we can about what the other teams' fans are thinking about upcoming games and situations. So I've been reading threads about Eddie Howe being linked to the Everton job and the West Ham job, and a lot of those Bournemouth fans are sort of hinting that actually, if he goes, they're not too bothered. He's done fantastic. They're not saying he's not done a bad job, but they're trying to say is he is stubborn. He's got his favourites, and the biggest example they gave was Josh King saying, some games they should have been playing Fraser or Brooks or Wilson or whatever, but he always tries to squeeze Josh King in there because it's his favourite. So even if Josh King's out of position in someone else's position, Howe does it in order to get his player in. So when we say Pellegrini's stubborn, the thing is, I don't think he is that stubborn with personnel. If you take Roberto out of there's not many other players you have to say Pellegrini is insistent on picking week in, week out. I know people will be saying Anderson and that, but there's no real person to come in for him. He's stubborn with his formation and his tactics, but I do think there's the managers we're being linked with is just as bad. I mean, Pep Guardiola, obviously we're not linked to him, but Pep Guardiola for the last couple of weeks has been playing Fernandinho centre back. Journalists have been questioning about it. He's been getting very defensive about it. Then they go get beat by Man United and Fernandinho's not playing great. They're missing him in midfield and stuff. Every manager has got a degree of stubbornness about him. Now, I put down here, fed up with modern football. And that is because a lot of people at the minute are getting bored of West Ham. And a big part of it is because of the board, and a big part of it is because of modern football in general. There's a lot of people getting fed up with modern football. But I think this manager situation thing comes into modern football because you go 5-6 games without a win, and all of a sudden it's like, right, out the club. And I think, well, that is modern football, and if you've got an issue with modern football, how come we don't have an issue with the managers going in and out revolving doors all the time? I think a club, and there are some clubs out there that need to buck the trend a little bit and stop sacking managers at the first sign of trouble and almost back your manager, give him time. And when I say time, I don't mean 5 games, I mean 5 seasons. Now, I'm not suggesting Pellegrini gets a 5-year contract. That in the summer I would have given it. I don't mind admitting it. I would have given Pellegrini a new contract in the summer, okay? And he wanted one. And Sullivan basically said, you're not getting one yet. We'll wait and see. And I'll come on to this in a second. But that is modern football. All these managers don't have time at football clubs anymore. And that annoys me because I think player power exists too much at other clubs and arguably our club as well. And then you look at today, the Pellegrini Out army, if you like, has got louder today, and I can understand why. Okay, I'm not saying I don't understand why people don't want him gone. I have my reasons for wanting him gone as well. But today it's almost got worse for Pellegrini without us even playing, because we've sat and watched Leicester make easy work at Villa Park, where we struggled, we didn't score, and Leicester's gone there today, bang bang bang, I think it was 5-1 in the end. Easy. Then Wolves Brighton played 2-2, goals, and we're looking at that thinking, we can't do that. We don't have that sort of attacking intent with us. And of course, our former manager Slaven Bilic played today, didn't he? His club West Brom played today. They also scored 5. They won 5-1 at home. Second or top in the league, but they're 13 points clear of the third place team. And this is where Pellegrini's job has almost got a bit more difficult without us playing, because people can see they're envious of other clubs a little bit, and I can understand why. But then we're going to what's been happening in the news the last couple of days. I did tell you this is going to be a bit all over the shop. It's a bit impromptu. There was rumours on Friday that Mario Huselos had resigned. Now, it looks like that hasn't happened, but there's now reports, it's national media, are suggesting that he's considering resigning. Who can blame him? the blame game over the last month has been very much put at his door by what I call the official, unofficial channels. You know who they are. The people with good links at the club put out their bits of information, and the information that has been getting put out there is that Mario Huselos is to blame. And the signing of Roberto is very much laid at his door. And I agree, it should be laid at his door. But that's one bad signing, okay? Now, we can all have our opinions about the other ones, but I don't think there's been any other signing dreadful. Sanchez hasn't been a rolling success, but he was brought in to play the backup to Declan Rice, and that's a role he has played this season. He didn't cost us much. You know, you give Mario Huselos peanuts, he's going to go get monkeys, isn't he? So that's exactly what he's gone and done. You don't give him much money, you're not going to get much player. And it's that never-ending cycle a little bit. So there's rumours that he's going to walk. And this is where it starts to unsteady Pellegrini a little bit. And there's more to this, because the contract situation this summer as well. Pellegrini did want a new deal and got told, no, you're not getting one. You do wonder if that affects the manager. When Pellegrini was at Man City, in his second season there, before he got sacked, in his second season there, it was very obvious that Pep Guardiola was going to be a Manchester City manager in the summer. And James Milner's commented about how when that was obvious, Pellegrini sort of lost interest a little bit. He didn't engage with the players as much, and I feel a bit sorry for him in some senses, because it's the same things happening again. If Huselos is considering walking because he's getting blamed through all the media about the transfers and stuff, you can be damn sure that Pellegrini is aware that other managers are being linked to his job. He went into the press conference before the Wolves game after we beat Chelsea. He went to the press conference and someone said to him, "Oh, Manuel, nice to see you." And his response was, "Why? Did you not expect to see me?" So he damn well knows that his job's being touted. It's up for grabs. He'll even know who the favourites are. That's not going to help his morale or his enthusiasm at all. And then you've got Kovac was at the Goodison Park Saturday. Kovac was there, and he basically said that he's going to a few games in England this weekend, and it's strongly rumoured that he's attending the West Ham Arsenal game. He's attending our game tomorrow night, because obviously Arsenal have got no manager at the minute, so you could say he's going for the Arsenal job. But for someone who's been linked to West Ham, he's now attending the game, and not only that, Pellegrini's job gets a little bit more difficult, because in the punditry, the punditry room, Rafa Benitez is there. Rafa Benitez is on the punditry tomorrow night for the game. I mean, talk about pressure for Pellegrini when you've got one guy in the crowd and you've got another guy commenting on your performance as manager. And I've got no doubt he's going to be asked about the manager's job at West Ham should it come up for grabs. You know, his season in China's finished, Rafa Benitez. So it could be a tough watch tomorrow night, if you like, with Rafa there as well. But now, while I don't necessarily, so the reason I don't want Pellegrini to go is because it's short term. I want to see long term. I think the new manager would come in. I don't see nothing to change for the new manager to succeed that Pellegrini hasn't been given. You know, there's not much funds for January available. We're being linked to players who, they're very uninspiring, should we say. Me and Gonzo are doing a cup of tea on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to it, because we're going to be talking about the transfer rumours, because, 3 weeks till January? And there's been players linked to us. Today we're being linked with Darren Randolph, our former keeper, and Begovic. So I'm looking forward to discussing with the Gonzo, but this is why, a new manager like Kovac is going to make Begovic the best goalkeeper in the league? Nah, he's not. But people keep talking about how other clubs act. Now, while some do, Spurs certainly did, like that, okay. But Everton, they obviously sacked Silva late on in the week. Duncan Ferguson took charge for the game at the weekend, beat Chelsea 3-1 at home, fantastic result for them. And people are saying, well, that's what happens when you sack your manager, you get that upturn. But that is a very short thing. You might get it for 2 or 3 games. Watford have got a new manager, Pearson. They drew at home to Palace. There was no new manager bounce for them, was there? So it's a bit of a myth in football that there's a new manager bounce. There might be an upturn in player morale who are maybe a bit fed up playing for the old manager. There's maybe that. But it certainly doesn't guarantee you points for the next game. But even if it did, let's just go along with that. hypothetical situation for now. It is very, very short term. How long does the new manager bounce go for? 2 games, 3 games, and then what? So it's just, I don't buy into this. Oh, we need to get a new manager in because we'll win the next couple of games. I just don't buy into it whatsoever. So I'm just having a look at my notes there. I think I've gone through most things, but I think this is the first rough spell Pellegrini. I was happy last season. Now, Gonza did a video last week about how, the fans were getting blamed for the appointment of Pellegrini, and he was saying, well, hang on a minute, fans didn't want Pellegrini. We can touch on it in a cup of tea a bit, but now Pellegrini wasn't my number one choice. Everyone knows Brendan Rodgers was, and then my second one was David Wagner, who was at Huddersfield at the time. But when Pellegrini came in, when he was announced, I was delighted. I was really, really happy to get Pellegrini in. I thought, fantastic, good manager, good footballing CV. I was happy with last season. I thought there were some really good games. I thought there were some really boring games. I thought there were some really crap games. But overall, over the 38 league games and however many cup games there were, not many, but over the cup games, I was happy. Apart from the cups, the lack of cup run, I was happy. I was content with the football we were seeing. I thought we had some good players. I thought we had a good foundation to build on. We brought in Sebastian Aller in the summer. I was really happy. I was looking forward to this season. It's not worked. Pellegrini has to take a lot of the blame. But I don't think he has to take all the blame. I think there's a lot of players not turned up this season. I think the first sign of trouble when we lost a few games, his director of football got thrown under the bus pretty quick. I think Pellegrini's had a hard time with the media talk surrounding his position. And I just think, as when I did the transfer rumour show a couple of weeks ago, that managers are short term, but the culture of the club is a long term, and with the culture of the club, that won't change. If you change Pellegrini, the culture of the club won't change, and that's why I think, what's the point of changing the manager almost, because the new guy comes into the same thing, and how is he going to succeed? The culture has to change, the environment has to change. When I started my working life, my retail career, if you like, when I was assistant manager, my line manager had a motto, and I used to think it was a bit cliched. It was a bit cliched, but I also remembered it. I mean, 10 years on now, I still remember it, and I still refer to it, or I used to refer to it at work. That was to create an environment where success was inevitable. That was his motto. We don't do that at West Ham. We certainly do not do that. We almost do the opposite. We create an environment where failure is inevitable, because first go into trouble, managers under the bus. And anyway, that's pretty much it for me. I know I've rambled on, but that's just my thoughts, because I know I'm in the minority here. I know a majority want shot at Pellegrini. We're just outside the relegation zone at the time of recording. There's a damn good chance after next weekend we're going to be in the bottom 3. But I'm still not Pellegrini out for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't have the same affection for him as I did for Slav. I'm quite laid back when it comes to managers. I want to be loyal to managers. I want the club to be loyal to managers. I want a unity between the board, manager, director of football. I almost want, we fight together, we win together, and we lose together. But I don't think we've got that at West Ham United. I don't know, it's difficult to put into words sometimes. Pellegrini, at the end of the day, Pellegrini, in January, if he's still here, which I think he will be, he's 6 games away from becoming a hero. You've got 6 games. FA Cup 3rd round, FA Cup 4th round, FA Cup 5th round, quarterfinals, semi-finals and final. You're 6 wins away from becoming a hero, a legend at the football club. Even if you finish 19th in the league, in my opinion, he will still be a hero. But what I will say, and this is my final note, and I'm leaving this one to last, I do think his position has become, or is becoming, untenable. Because the way the behaviour is at the club with all the leaks and stuff, I struggle to see how Pellegrini can become a success at West Ham. I struggle to see how we can turn this around, because if we beat Arsenal tomorrow night, and I think we will, okay, the thing will still be, if we lose against Southampton, Pellegrini has to go. Then if we get something at Southampton, then what? We know what it'll be. If we lose the next game, Pellegrini must go. Pellegrini's on this 3-game cycle now, between now and when he leaves. Unless he goes on a ridiculous winning spree, which I don't think he will, okay? He's always going to be 2 or 3 games from the sack. And this is why I think his position's untenable. And I call it manager limbo. But it's almost like pointless and frustrating. And it's almost like get-out clause for the boards. It'll be a get-out clause in January. Well, why should we spend in January when we don't know if the manager's going to be here in February? And it's all a bit convenient. Pellegrini is a human shield right now for David Sullivan. And it's handy for David Sullivan to have Pellegrini there taking all the stick, all the flack. And that's part of the reason I'm Pellegrini in. I almost want Pellegrini to be a success at West Ham, to stick it to David Sullivan a little bit, you know. I do. That is almost part of my motivation to want Pellegrini to do well, because Slaven Bilic is doing it at West Brom. Right now, this season, Slaven Bilic is sticking 2 fingers up at Sullivan and saying, this is what I can do. If you back me, you get me the players, and this is what I can do. Because funny enough, one of his best players this season is Sawyer, the centre midfielder. The one position Bilic never got when he was at West Ham under David Sullivan, the centre midfielder. Sawyer's there doing it, and he's doing it. He's giving the fingers to Sullivan. I almost want Pellegrini to do the same a little bit, but like I said, I think his position's perhaps a little bit untenable. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow night. We've got the the build-up show. So it's 8 o'clock kickoff, 7 o'clock. We'll be live on this channel talking about the lineups. We're not at the game tomorrow because of geography for me, and Gonzo's he's on father duty. His wife's working, so he's having to do the father duty, so he can't escape. So he's stuck with me to do the videos. And so 7 o'clock we'll go live. Then we'll have the review straight after. Wednesday night this week. Wednesday night we'll have our cup of tea. Well, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks since we've done one. So we'll be looking at the transfer rumours, the managerial situation, because no doubt it'll evolve since then, especially if we don't win. Tomorrow night, the Pellegrini Out claims will get bigger, louder. Understandably so. I do understand why people want him gone. Okay, I'm not saying they're wrong. It's your opinion. You're entitled to anyone's opinion is correct. This is just my opinion. But anyway, drop a like on the video if you somehow enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new right here. Gonzo's back tomorrow on the forum channel. He's doing these videos every lunchtime as always. I enjoy them. I look forward to them. I get a bit angry if I go on my lunch and the video's not uploaded yet. I actually text him and say, "Oi, where is it? I'm here with my lunch and there's nothing to watch for 10 minutes, so get a move on." So do check that out tomorrow as well. But thank you very much for joining us. Take care, and I'll see you in a bit. Ta-da.